it's John McCabe. Welcome to the show. Hey, welcome to the John A. McCabe Show, where it's all about accelerating your authority in your business or field of expertise. And I do that by helping entrepreneurs, business owners, authors, experts, and speakers get seen, get heard, get noticed anywhere, on any device, anytime, in as little as 15 hours worth of effort, also known as the Authority Acceleration Blueprint. Now, on today's show, The Entrepreneur's Journey, I'm so honored to have on the show my very good friend, international love coach, fellow mastermind member, and survivor of stage 4 cancer, Irene Tomoe Cooper. Now, there isn't enough time in today's show to say all the great things about Irene, but what I will say is that she'll have an effect and impact your life in a very great way. I'm proud to call her my friend. Irene and I met a couple of years ago while we were attending some Mike Koenig's marketing events in San Diego. I don't recall how we actually met, which really isn't unusual for me. I tend to forget lots of details about past events, such as how I meet people. But I do recall that she has such a loving soul and personality. It's very difficult not to want to be around her. Now, even though today's show is the entrepreneur's journey, I have a feeling we'll be discussing the journey of life, talking about one's purpose, why we are put here, and how it is we can impact other people's lives. Because that's what Irene does day in and day out. The struggles we have as entrepreneurs pale in comparison to the battles people go through on a daily basis just to live their life. I think it's important for many of us to step back and think about how fortunate we are when times are tough, when things aren't going our way, when we aren't seeing the results that we want. We need to be thankful for what we do have. We need to keep moving forward. We need to keep going and never give up on our dreams. And Irene is a walking, talking example of that each and every day. Irene will be sharing with us how she is living her life to the fullest, has a strong, thriving, and expanding international business, as well as live in peaceful personal life while living with stage 4 cancer. Irene feels that if she's able to keep her head up high, travel the world while having a happy, harmonious harmonious love and work life, then you'll definitely be able to do so too. And today she's going to share with us just how she does it. Now, Irene Tomoe Cooper is a highly respected international love coach and author of the best-selling book, The Japanese Women's Guide to International Relationship Skills. She's also in demand as a keynote speaker and talk show guest, where she imparts expert advice on love, personal connections, matchmaking, and integrating work and life to create harmony. Now, fluent in Japanese and English, Irene advises men and women in Europe, Asia, and the US on love and relationship issues, specializing in East-West relationships where cultural communication is so vital. Her global clientele encompass male and female corporate executives, entrepreneurs, and leading medical, law, and academic professionals. Well known as a dynamic trainer and mentor, Irene built her global reputation by helping successful Japanese women switch off their work mode and turn on their sensuality to attract loving, lifelong relationships with Western men of their dreams. So be sure to stick around, because when I come back, we're going on the entrepreneur's journey with my dear friend and colleague, Irene Tomoe Cooper. Hey, thanks for joining us today. Today it's Entrepreneur's Journey, where we hear from an individual about their journey into entrepreneurship. Sometimes the journeys are like roller coasters filled with ups and downs, twists and turns, and even sometimes getting derailed from time to time. And sometimes it isn't necessarily the business journey that takes us on a roller coaster. Sometimes it's life that derails us. That's what happened to my guest today. However, she refuses to let cancer beat her, and she forges on living her life with grace, dedication, and purpose. For those of you who don't know who my guest is today, Irene Tomoe Cooper is an Amazon best-selling author of The Japanese Women's Guide to International Relationship Skills, and has a Japanese podcast that has been downloaded over 95,000 times. She helps busy and successful global-minded Japanese women, single, 25 to 45, and right in my age range, who are career women and or professionals who feel good about their work but do not have confidence in themselves or in their relationships. These ladies fear that they're going to be single forever, that they're frustrated that they can't find the man of their dreams, or fear that it's not possible for them to do so. Most of them worry they'll be too old to get married, or they'll no longer be wanted or desired by men, and they're frustrated that they don't have time to meet men. They're also afraid that if they do meet anyone, that they aren't going to be their type, or they're going to meet the wrong man, and they're really stressed out, and they're not able to balance their life and their work. Now, Irene works with these ladies and helps them through one-on-one coaching, seminars, retreats, webinars, and their training programs that she's created. So please give it up with likes, loves, shares, and a virtual flurry of thumbs up and heart icons across the screen for my guest today, my very good friend, Irene Tomoe Cooper. Welcome, Irene.
Thank you very much for having me on your show, John. I was so excited. Thank you.
I'm excited that you're on the show, actually. So for anyone who doesn't know, where are you located right now? You're in the UK, right?
At this moment, I'm in the United Kingdom.
And what time of the day is it?
Good question. It's 8 o'clock, a little past 8 o'clock.
8 p.m. on a Wednesday night.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, thanks for taking the time to join us today. I know that there's a lot of guests on the show that friends of ours that we've met over the past few years, and they're all on here to support you and definitely to hear what you have to say when it comes to your entrepreneur journey. So, but before we get too wrapped up into the questions, those questions, I don't know if you've actually watched the show or not, but I have a speed round of questions for you.
Yes.
Now these are 10 questions, nothing that you have to study for. There's no test at the end. There's no right or wrong answer. So there's no failing. But what I'd like you to do is I'm just going to ask you a series of questions and just say what first thing that comes to your mind in a sentence or two. And it's just so that people get to know a little bit more about who Irene is on a personal level as well as a professional level. So, and for all of you watching at home, if you haven't done so already, make sure you like, love, share this video on your Facebook feed and on any Facebook pages that you manage or any groups that you belong to. And as well, I'd like to encourage everybody to play along. So when I ask the question, just type your answer in the comment section and we'll compare your answers at the end. So are you all set, Irene?
I am.
Okay. So name the book that impacted your life the most.
The book that impacted me the most, actually it was when I was 16 when to answer the question, it's the I'm Okay, You're Okay book from Thomas Harris.
Excellent. So when you were a young girl, who was your celebrity crush?
Jackie Chan.
Who?
Jackie Chan.
Okay.
Chinese.
So what either book, podcast, or show are you into right now?
Actually, it's sort of like a show. I just purchased the Coach John Wooden's Pyramid of Success.
Okay.
I'm very excited to listen to that.
Excellent. And are you currently working with any coaches?
Yes, I am. Should I name them?
Who are they?
Yeah, it's Ed Rush, Mike Koenigs, Pamela Hendrickson, and Gina DeVee.
Wow, lots of coaches.
I know.
So what is your favorite movie of all time?
My favorite movie is An Affair to Remember. It's so old, but it's great.
Excellent. And are you currently involved in any masterminds?
Yes, one.
Okay. And name a person, either dead or alive, who you'd most like to meet and have dinner with.
Oh, I'd love to meet Ellen DeGeneres. I think I'm saying her name
Very
right.
nice. Actually, I see that she just won or got a medal from the president yesterday.
Yes. She seems so fun. I'd love to meet her.
Excellent. And what is your favorite type of vacation? Is it a beach vacation or adventure tour?
Well, it'll be beach/resort.
Yeah, those are kind of my favorites too.
Yeah.
But there's always some adventure when you go to a beach/resort.
Yes.
And what's the best business advice you ever received?
It was when I was a platinum membership with Tony. The guy who sat next to me was a millionaire. He said, write down 10 ideas every day. He goes, if you do that, you will get 365 times 10 ideas, and one of them will absolutely be a big hit. And in fact, it was one of the reasons why I'm doing what I do now. So it's brilliant advice.
Excellent. And the last question is a two-parter. What is your favorite? Not what do you consume on a regular basis, but out of these, which is your favorite? Water, beer, or wine? Pizza, wings, or salad?
Wine.
Okay. And how about, that one was pretty quick. How about the pizza, wings, or salad? What's your favorite out of those three?
Wings.
So wine and wings it is. So
Wine and wings.
excellent. So everyone give Irene some love by hitting that like button, love button, and be sure to share this on your Facebook feed and any Facebook pages that you manage. And thanks for playing along, Irene. But now it's time to give some shout outs to all the people that are joining us. So I want to say hello to Anne, our good friend.
Hello.
Anne is joining us. Ryan Grant, Joe is in the house, as well as Nobby. Welcome, guys. Heather Morrow has joined us as well. Heather's my best friend. And Anne says, hi, Irene. And Nobby says, hi, Irene and John. And Joe says hello to both of us as well. So everyone, thank you very much for joining us on today's show. And if you're just joining us, I'm speaking with Irene Tomoe Cooper. She's a highly respected international love coach and author of the best-selling book, The Japanese Woman's Guide to International Relationship Skills. She's also in demand as a keynote speaker and talk show guest, where she imparts expert advice on love, personal connection, matchmaking, and integrating work and life to create harmony. Now, she's fluent in Japanese and English. Irene advises men and women in Europe, Asia, and the US on love and relationship issues, specializing in East-West relationships, where cultural communication is so vital. Her global clientele encompass male and female corporate executives, entrepreneurs, and leading medical, law, and academic professionals. She's also well known as a dynamic trainer and mentor. Irene built her global reputation by helping successful Japanese women switch off their work mode and turn on their sensuality to attract loving, lifelong relationships with Western men of their dreams. So like I said, please like, love, share this video with everyone on your Facebook feed. And if you have any questions throughout the show, just type them in the comments section and we'll do our very best to answer them during the show. And if we can't answer them during the show, we'll answer them after the show has been completed. And if you're watching this on replay, just type your questions in the comments section and either tag Irene or myself, and we'll get back to you. So Irene, could you fill us in a little bit on your background? So, you know, where are you from, your education, what you used to do before you became an entrepreneur?
Sure. I'm originally from a place in Japan called Okinawa, and it used to be part of the United States right after the Second War, but it was reverted back to Japan. I grew up there, went to American school. My mom's Japanese, my father's American. So I grew up all in Japan, but I went to American school there, like I said, and for university, I went to University of California, Berkeley. And after that, my mom's a medical doctor, my father's a professor. And all this time, I always thought I'm going to be a medical doctor. So from when I was a child, I was saying, I'm going to be a doctor, and probably just made my mom happy.
Yeah.
But when I went to university, it was very difficult, as you know.
Yeah.
But and like 6-7 months, because you take general studies prior to medical school. So 6 months prior to graduating, I thought, I don't want to be a doctor. And I was dreading to tell my parents, but I did. And then I didn't know what to do in my life. I really was lost. So my dad just said, at least graduate and come back to Okinawa, Japan, and you can teach English or something and find out what you want to do. So that's what I did. So that's how I started, out of not knowing what to. At first, thinking I'm going to be a medical doctor, and then totally lost. I didn't know what to do. So I did tons of stuff, teaching. I taught in schools. Then I went to the U.S. government. There's a military base there, so I was a public affairs officer. I did tons of things, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. But every single time, it was about someone saying, "Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Why don't you do this?" So the whole time, I was sort of like a plankton, just drifting and doing things that people said to do. So. But I was invited by one of my brother's best friend, who was a very senior person in a company in the United States, saying they're opening up a business in Tokyo, and they needed bilingual staff to oversee some of the operations. So I was hired by this company starting up in Japan. I was the 4th employee, and that was in 1994. And since then, I worked for a corporation. Every year, because we grew massively, right. I was first in Japan, then I started up the Asian market. Then from there, the whole. I had the whole company actually that I was training. So I was promoted the whole time. So from there, they sent me to United Kingdom, to England, to oversee the European operations. That's when I became the vice president of this company. So I was very lucky. I worked my heart out, really worked hard, but I was a vice president of a corporation. So I worked for corporate for 10 years prior to becoming solo entrepreneur.
Wow. And what, so that took you, how long ago was that when you finished up your career with the corporation?
Actually, I left the company December 2004 and 2003 because I got, the reason is I got married to my husband. And during that time, I thought my goal was to be vice president of this of a company in a corporate. I had 340 staff around the world. It was great. I was doing great. And I thought I accomplished my task of being corporate and being successful as I wanted to be. And then I thought, well, my next job is to be successful in love. So I thought if I completed my work, then I can just go into being a wife. And so I quit my job. I love my job, but I quit it because I had this notion that I wanted to be a wife or, housewife.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I left corporate. A really stupid reason, but
So how did you end up meeting your husband? Did you meet him through work?
Yes, I did. He was one of our very important customers, and we weren't supposed to date customers at that time.
I guess that's why you had to quit.
Yes, well, I was supposed to. They moved me over to Europe to oversee the market, to learn, so I can go back to Asia to operate there.
Yeah.
So I kind of really ruined the expectations of my boss. I really felt bad, but I thought, well, this is my goal, so I'm going to do what I want to do.
Yeah, it's your life. So, well, tell us the story about how you actually started in the relationship coaching business. So you went from a VP to an international company, leaving that job and getting married. And how did you actually end up being a relationship coach or a love coach?
I know. So I quit work thinking I wanted to be a housewife, right? But I don't cook, and before I told my husband, I said I don't cook. I don't like cleaning. I don't do all those stuff. So I don't know what I was thinking. So I got really bored after 6 months, and I thought, no, I need to find something. So for the first time in my entire life, I decided to look for a job. Because like I said, every time someone said, try this, and that's how I got employed.
Yeah.
But this time I went to the internet, and this was in 2005. I decided, because 2004, I was a year happily married. I got married 2004. So come 2005, I thought, I'm going to look for something. I went to the internet, and then I found this company being promoted. It's a Japanese company starting up in Europe, in London. They were already successful in the United States. It was an introduction agency for East and West marriages. Okay. And I thought, I know how to do that. All these years I worked on, my corporate life as well as looking for my best soulmate. So I thought, this is perfect for me. So I applied. And then that day I got a response back saying, can you come tomorrow? I went the next day. Actually, it was a Skype interview. So I had a Skype interview. They hired me. So I started to work for international matchmaking company in London, in a beautiful place called Mayfair, a really gorgeous, extravagant place. And that's the first time I got introduced to introductions or this relationship type of thing. And love coaching was not anything in my thoughts. It was about matchmaking. That's where I learned the art of what it means to be helping out with relationships. So when I was working, though, I loved my job. It's like high net worth people that you meet, so it's very stimulating, intellectual, and you can really help. They open up their hearts to me. These CEOs of companies, and I realized, gosh, this is really intimate, and I wanted to help out more. But what happened is that matchmaking company went bust after three years I was working. So in 2008, and it was horrible. It just went. It was a horrible experience. So what happened is all these people that I was helping out, all of a sudden the company just all of a sudden disappeared. So we were so communicating with the clients. So I kept that relationship. Even now, there are a few people that I communicate with since then, that time. But I decided that, well, I need to do something with these, with the clients. I wasn't making any money, but I was helping out. And one day my husband did say, though, he goes, how ironic that your company, this is when the company, before it went bust, he said, how ironic that you are saying that you're going to introduce, help them find relationships. But in fact, your company, my company at that time, not mine, but the company I was working for, we were making money by people renewing.
Yes.
Their contracts. So
by not finding a relationship, by not finding love, that's how they actually make their money.
Unfortunately, our company, there were few people who did match up, but matchmaking is very difficult. You have to be really skilled in it.
Yeah.
And but how we were doing the business probably wasn't the best way. So when he said that, I was offended at first. I thought, no, we're doing our best. And then I thought, he has a point. Matchmaking wasn't for me, but I wanted to coach. I wanted to teach how to find their own soulmate instead of having someone saying this person is good for you.
Right.
So I started to, and I loved teaching. Like my first job was to teach English, and I love teaching. So what I started to do is do these one-on-one coaching sessions and helping these people find their own soulmate, and it worked. And all these people started to date or find their own person. So I thought, well, this makes sense when people teach a person how to fish, and you can feed them for a lifetime, so to speak. You know, so that's really what started my concept of love coaching.
Excellent. That's very interesting. And if you guys are just joining us, I'm speaking with Irene Tomoe Cooper. She's a highly respected international love coach and author of the best-selling book, The Japanese Women's Guide to International Relationship Skills. She's also in demand as a keynote speaker and talk show guest, where she imparts expert advice on love, personal connections, matchmaking, and integrating work and life to create harmony. Now, she's fluent in Japanese and English. Irene advises men and women in Europe, Asia, and the U.S. on love and relationship issues, specializing in East-West relationships where cultural communication is so vital. Her global clientele encompass male and female corporate executives, entrepreneurs, and leading medical, law, and academic professionals. She's well known as a dynamic trainer and mentor. Irene built her global reputation by helping successful Japanese women switch off their work mode and turn on their sensuality to attract loving, lifelong relationships with Western men of their dreams. So please make sure that you love, like, share this video on your Facebook feed, as well as if you have any questions, just type them in the chat, in the comment section. We'll get to them during the show. And if we can't get to them during the show, then we'll answer them after the show has already been aired. And if you're watching this on replay, just type them in and just tag either Irene or myself. And Joe, Irene, Joe wants to know if you ever pursued the app. Did you ever pursue the app, creating an app?
I do have an app, and it just came. It's like a quiz kind of thing. So yes, I did. Thank you for remembering. Yes.
I didn't even remember that. Yeah, thanks, Joe. Thanks for remembering that and bringing it up. That's awesome. And as well, Irene, so when you first started out, what were some of the biggest challenges you faced as an entrepreneur early in your business? So you, obviously the company went bust. You started working with these ladies one-on-one, helping them, trying to find love, teaching them what to do. So what were some of the early challenges that you had with a business, with starting that business, and how did you overcome those challenges?
A very good question, actually. I didn't. First of all, it's all about mindset. You hear this all the time, but it's so about mindset. I started thinking I just wanted to teach, like I was saying. I wanted to. So everything was about, let me show you, let me show you, let me show you.
Yeah.
So I wrote blogs every single day. At first, I was coaching But after the company went bust, it was hard. I had to do other corporate business coaching because I wasn't really making money from coaching because I didn't know how to really make it work. But I was giving out information. It was great information. So my blog, I started doing a blog. My challenge was that I didn't know how to market myself. So I was just writing blogs. And if I did that without no one really knowing I was writing it, I would have never been successful. But what happened is after 3-4 months, I had no idea who's writing it, but I was just thinking of, let me tell you. But someone actually read my blog who had 2,000 something subscribers in her own blog. And she introduced me to her. She just said, hey, can I introduce your blog to my people? And that just put fire on my business. And that's really the start of how all of a sudden my access every day shot up to from 100 to 200 people to 6,000 views a day. And so that was really what got started. And then from there, I thought, well, someone said, hey, why don't you do seminars? I started seminars. And so probably the biggest hurdles I had was I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a business plan. If I go back now, I would have planned writing blogs are great, but have a plan on when you write it, what you're going to write, right. And like a succession thing for my clients. Because I was going here and there, and I didn't really help my clients learn the step-by-step process.
Right.
So my thing was, first of all, to really look at it as a business and to look at it from the client's view. It's only later on that I did surveys and listened to my clients of what they needed. So if anything, my challenge was, what is it that I wasn't really listening to my clients, or I didn't even think about asking them questions to see what is it that they needed at this time. And because of that, my business was stagnant. It was just treading along. It wasn't something that I was able to expand on. And sorry.
And I think a lot of entrepreneurs fall in that same trap where they don't reach out to their target market or their core customers to find out what it is that they truly want. And then they'll end up building stuff or creating things that their market really doesn't need or really doesn't want. It's not what they desire. But by doing those surveys, you get a clear understanding of, an inside depth into who your market is and really what they want help with. And it's understanding what they want help with and then being able to convert that into a step-by-step program or a seminar or some way that you can deliver on exactly what it is that they want and help them achieve their desired outcome.
Exactly. Yeah. So how did I overcome that? I got coached. You asked the first 10 questions, you said, what are you going to do? So I started to get coaching, business coaching. And I never thought I'd get business coaching. I got coaching from Tony Robbins when I was a corporate.
Right.
But I never thought of, that was the first thing I started out get coaching. And that was the people I talked about, Mike Koenigs and Ed Rush and Pam Hendrickson. So from there, they taught me that, no, listen to your clients. And then I put a plan together. And that really transformed my business. And another obstacle I had was I wasn't pricing my business right.
Yes.
So it was very difficult at the first. I had to always really tread on things. But later on, there's just small tweaks that a coach would do. And all of a sudden it's like, wow, so that's what transformed my business.
Very nice. So how long ago was it that you were, this is getting into more of the personal stuff. How long ago was it that you were diagnosed with cancer? And after you had a chance to process that information, what was going on in your life, what were some of your first thoughts when, with respect to your business? Was there ever a point where you thought about just giving up the business and focusing primarily on your health? And I mean, I know you focus on your health, but was there a time that you thought, well, I'm just going to not do this business anymore. I have to focus on this 100%?
Yeah, that's a good question. I was diagnosed with breast cancer in December 2013. And that was a time when my husband and I it was December 30th, really. So we were so looking forward to the following year that we had business plans, business goals. We said, we're going to do this and that. Very excited. And I was devastated at the beginning. It was really challenging. But somehow, though, maybe this is my positive mindset. I thought, well, if you cut it out, it's going to be gone. So right. I had to get surgery in 2 weeks. I mean, that's how perhaps it was destitute. I had to get it out in 2 weeks. So within 2 weeks, I had my cancer out. And the thing is, here I am. That was in January 2014, and my chemo was supposed to start in March, but I had a half marathon that I had to run. Oh no, I had to go to Japan. So I said, I have to go to Japan first to do my business. So I can't do my chemo until I come back. I mean, that's how much I was thinking, well, this is not going to defeat me. This is okay. If I cut it out, it's going to be gone. So I never imagined that it's going to hinder me in my life or my business. So, the thing is, John, when that year, after I started my chemo, within 2 weeks, my hair went. So, but the whole year of 2014, I wore a wig. I wore, all my hair was gone, but I wore a wig. I did everything, and
that's when we had met. It was during that year.
Yes. Yeah. So
because you mentioned to me that you were wearing a wig. It's like, I didn't even notice. Maybe I'm not that astute. I don't know, but I didn't even notice you were.
But if I look back to those photos, I'm like, oh my gosh, I look like a zombie. Oh gosh, how can I do that? But I think I was in a mode of, I got to do this. So it kind of got me out of, my business actually helped me get out of my depression.
Yeah. So you never really took time to think about there was anything else. You just, you were diagnosed. 2 weeks later, it was gone. That story is just like my mom's story, actually. When she found out, she went in and said, "Oh, take care of it." And they said, "Oh, there's a chance of the second one." She goes, "I don't even want to know. Just take care of that one too. Just, this isn't going to defeat. I'm just moving on." And then, that positive attitude, right? Just persevering, but having that attitude of, it's done. It's over. I got to go to Japan. I don't got time to go to chemo. I got business to run. I've got things to do in my life. So
exactly.
That's just awesome. If you guys are just joining me, I'm speaking with Irene Tomoe Cooper. She's a highly respected international love coach and author of the best-selling book, The Japanese Women's Guide to International Relationship Skills. She's also in demand as a keynote speaker and talk show guest, where she imparts expert advice on love, personal connections, matchmaking, and integrating work and life to create harmony. Now, she's fluent in Japanese and English. Irene advises men and women in Europe, Asia, and the U.S. on love and relationships issues, specializing in East-West relationships where cultural communication is so vital. Her global clientele encompass male and female corporate executives, entrepreneurs, and leading medical, law, and academic professionals. She's well known as a dynamic trainer and mentor. Irene built her global reputation by helping successful Japanese women switch off their work mode and turn on their sensuality to attract loving, lifelong relationships with Western men of their dreams. And be sure to make sure that you like, love, share this video with on all your Facebook feed, as well as any Facebook pages that you manage. And if you have any questions or comments, just type them in the chat section, in the comment section. We'll get to them during the show. And if we can't get to them during the show, or you're watching this on replay, just make sure you tag Irene or myself, and we'll follow up with you after it's been posted. And Joe says that Irene, you're world class. He mentions that I'm world class too, but Irene's world class, and I just want to thank her so much.
Thank you.
So Irene, last year at our mastermind session, you announced to our group that your cancer was back, and then you actually announced it on stage just after that. So has that changed your outlook on life or in your business, having it come back at all?
In fact, it did. Like I said at the beginning, when I got breast cancer, I thought when you cut it out, it's gone. It was actually a like punch in the face when it was how it was told to me too.
Okay.
I'm really sorry. That's how it started. I'm really sorry. And I thought, they need to do this better on telling, but it was a shock. So I didn't know what to say. My breast cancer metastasized and now it's in my bones. So I'm in pain constantly. And before I was fighting, cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized, after being depressed for a week, I thought, okay, now if I don't want to fight anymore, but doesn't mean that I wanted to give up. I thought I'm not going to give up. I have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
And I decided, I can either take it as a curse or take it as an opportunity to grow as a person. And it was very difficult, but I thought, how would I do that? I need to look at a way to find peace. And that's when I thought, I'm going to live with it. I'm going to love it. I'm going to, whatever it is, I feel it, it's in my sternum and my vertebrae. It's in my spine, a spinal cord. And so when it hurts, I go, I know you're there. We're going to coexist. I'm not going to fight you. I'm going to coexist and I'm going to make the best of this. So once I started to realize I will live with it, but live with it good. I'm going to make it work with me. I'm going to make it make me a better person because of it. And somehow I'm going to make this count. Whatever I did in the past, I'm going to make it like either inspire people, either make me a better person. Whatever it is, there's a reason why I got this, and I'm going to live with it in a sense of in peace. So, I say this easily now, but it wasn't easy to come to this. It took me a while to get to this peace situation. And, people pray for me and I'm really grateful. I do take good care of myself. People look at me, you won't know, right? I mean, that I have stage 4 terminally ill. That terminally ill it's not even in my dictionary. I can defy the odds, but I don't have to fight it anymore. So it has transformed my way of living. I live today, and it probably now I'm at a stage. I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer like 10 days before my birthday last year.
Yeah.
So I had some time to process this, and I think it's more difficult for my husband, and people around me. But I've learned how to be at peace.
Excellent. And prior to actually the show starting, I mean, we talked about some of your goals that you have planned some big things coming up next year, which we'll actually get into a little bit later on in the show. But it's so encouraging that you have that outlook, and I applaud you.
Thank you.
I'm trying not to cry because I'm such a crier. But all right, so moving on. Your husband just wrote a book.
Yes.
How to make an impact on men. Congrats to him, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Are you running it through the process to get it to bestseller, or what's your plan with the book, and is it targeting your market? Is that who it's targeting?
Yes, it's actually targeting my market. He wrote a book for me, actually, because I said, you know exactly who I am. So he's writing it from a man's point of view of Japanese women. So, because we are always interested in how men think. And my husband's just such a brilliant coach as well. So I thought, use your time, do something for me. And he wrote a book. And right now it was just completed, and I think it's brilliant. He's so good in writing. I wish I could write like him, but he did it for my clients, and it's something I didn't even think about doing a book launch. Maybe you can help me. But
I'll definitely help you. We'll talk when this is done, and we'll do a live cast, and we'll actually launch it out.
Yes.
And you gave me the link, so we'll actually put the link in in the comments section, so all the guests can preview the book. Get a PDF copy, but by all means, when Irene and I do the book launch, you're definitely you're going to be invited, and we'll be looking for you guys to purchase it during the launch as well. But continue on. Sorry.
Yeah, so it's a great book. It talks about the 5 master steps of making an impact on men. This is targeted for Japanese women. It's all in English, by the way, obviously, because my husband wrote it. But I think anybody can learn from it. Anybody who's in an international relationship or just curious, what do men think? And it talks about the 5 master steps a woman can do to enhance their impact and have a lasting impression on men. So I think my husband's great. So please do read it. It's free, it's downloadable at this moment.
Yeah, we'll get it down. We'll get the link put in there so everyone can download it. And then, just let me know when you actually want to do the launch. So I'm helping a couple other people this month. I've helped one friend earlier with a book launch, and we got her to #1 during the time that we actually were live. We did a 3-hour live session. Then she came on the show afterwards. And I'm helping Joe Bavino with some of his clients' book launches. And I was talking with Rob, can't remember Rob's last name. You know him. He was in our mastermind group. He's looking to do a book launch as well. So I'm going to help him doing a live cast. So definitely there, Irene, I'm there for you. I'm always there for you. And if you guys are just joining us, I'm speaking with Irene Tomoe Cooper. She's a highly respected international love coach and author of the best-selling book, The Japanese Women's Guide to International Relationship Skills. She's also in demand as a keynote speaker and talk show guest, where she imparts expert advice on love, personal connections, matchmaking, and integrating work and life to create harmony. She's fluent in Japanese and English. Irene advises men and women in Europe, Asia, and the U.S. on love and relationships issues, specializing in East-West relationships where cultural communication is so vital. Her global clientele encompasses male and female corporate executives, entrepreneurs, and leading medical, law, and academic professionals. She's also a dynamic trainer and mentor. Irene built her global reputation by helping successful Japanese women switch off their work mode and turn on their sensuality to attract loving, lifelong relationships with Western men of their dreams. So be sure to like, love, share this video with everyone in your Facebook feed, as well as if you have any questions or comments, just type them into the comments section and we'll get to them during the show. And Joey Ragona joined us, my good friend Joey. He's going to be on the show tomorrow, and he says that you're so inspirational. Joe mentions that you're a very special person, Irene. You know how much you inspire me to be a better man, and he's definitely going to buy the book. So thanks, everybody, for joining us. And like I said, if you have any questions or comments, just type them in the comment field, and we'll get to them during the show. So Irene, can you fill us in a little bit more about your business? So what are some of the biggest challenges you face specifically with the culture of the Japanese women when it comes to your business?
A lot of times my business is for Japan. My focus is Japanese. My target market is Japanese women and with Western men, but mainly my majority of clients are Japanese women who are interested in international relationships. The challenge that they face, or is it challenge they face or challenge I face?
Well, what's your biggest challenge with the culture of the Japanese women? Because they, the culture that they grew up in, they're, they were supposed to be a certain way, and things have shifted in the culture now. So is it a challenge for you? So what are some of your challenges with the mindset of the Japanese women?
The challenges, I guess, it's sort of challenge for, I don't know if it's a challenge for me, but it's more like a challenge for them, because the culture of Japanese women is that when you're dating a Western man, in Japan, there's a saying that you don't have to say it in words that they should understand or you should understand. So, or they say you should read the air, which means you don't have to say things you should understand. So the part of women, that's a cultural thing, that women want to speak their mind, but then if they feel like they shouldn't, because they should be able to read. But so this communication part is huge. Being able to they do speak their mind if they feel comfortable, but they feel like maybe it's rude, or that they come out as strong women. But Japanese women will never really come out as strong if you compare to other cultures, because it's their culture to not be submissive like long time ago, but more of respectful.
Right.
So that part of, it's okay to communicate your mind, and don't worry too much about offending. Those cultural differences are huge. And this respecting of other cultures come as if they're weak. And it's not that they're weak. They're just trying to be respectful. So that part, Western men might look at them as weak, which is not the case. So they have to be able to voice and exude their confidence. So that kind of thing. And also perhaps language barriers, because although a Japanese person feels like can communicate in English, they would always feel like they're not good enough, that they're somehow their English isn't perfect, so they shouldn't say they can speak English. So when you go to Japan, you can say, "Do you speak English?" They go, "Ah, ha, ha, ha," and laugh. So it's not being rude. It's just that they feel like, "Oh, I shouldn't, I'm not good enough," whether they're good or not. But
Yeah.
So those cultural things, they have a challenge on being able to, I guess, overcome those barriers.
Right. And I mentioned to you just prior to the show that I was watching several reports on a show called Vice. It's a U.S.-based news program that was specifically on the Japanese. Obviously, I'm preparing for the show, preparing for our discussion. That the Japanese population is actually declining at the fastest rate in the world. Over 50% of the women from 18 to 34 are single, and over 60% of the men of the same age are single. And there's things going on in this episode, and you're going to talk a little bit more about it because we already had this discussion, because this is just the version that we were given online, so you can dispute a lot of what's going on. But part of the equation is there's a changing gender roles with the economically empowered women. So there's a lot of women getting more high profile jobs, having their own money to spend. So that is changing the gender roles from the traditional get married, have a family, be a wife sort of role. And that's I think that's a lot of your target market, is the people that, the executive women, becoming powerful women. And we're just going to talk about some of the things that I've seen. There's guys that are dating a cyber virtual reality girlfriend. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And how do all these culture shifts affect your business, or how does it play on your business? And are the Western media, are they just feeding us sort of a small percentage of what the reality is in the going on in the country?
A very good question. Media would be always media. If people don't watch it, they don't have a business. So they would look at something so quirky and weird and pick it up and say,
sensationalize it.
Yeah, it's a story, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think even in Japan, it's weird. We would say that's really weird. Guys being on the playing with their application anime, like a manga, and to communicate. That's my girlfriend. That's sort of weird, even in Japanese standards. However, it is a serious problem. We do have a declining rate of the birth rate is, people are not having babies, people are not getting married. The women are excelling in their work. The thing is, the women are changing so rapidly. Women are saying, I don't have to get married at 25. I want to have a career. And because they work really hard, they do enjoy their work. A lot of times they want to have a career. They enjoy their money. They like to enjoy good food and those kind of things. But the men have not changed. the men have been working hard, 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 and all of a sudden women are changing at a rapid pace, and guys are still thinking, this is not the entire Japanese market, but a majority of it. The men still, Japanese men think, no, I want a wife who would stay at home, take care of the babies. And, there's this thing of, if you're after 25, you're like a Christmas cake. You're useless after 25. It's really horrible. Or they call makeino is lost dog for women who are successful. It's like really horrible. And this is the media doing that. But so women who are over 35, beautiful, successful, really taking good care of themselves, nice, elegant ladies, because they're 35 and in a corporate, job, they're like, the society is saying, why aren't you married? Why are you still single? You can't get married. And, that's a horrible way of saying things to women. So women want a career, but they still want that fantasy of being with the man of their dreams. These women have not changed. We have been reading fantasy things from when we were a kid, Disneyland and those kind of things. So women still want to be taken care of, but the men and the women are going sort of like this.
So is that why you're targeting or you're working with ladies that are interested in more westernized men? Because westernized men are more used to that type of a gender role nowadays. I mean, it's, in our society, it's, there's women that are equally, if not more powerful than a lot of men. It's been like that for some time. It's been a two income household, since the 70s. For as long as I can remember, my mom went to work, and we were, responsible for looking after the home. So it's been a long time in the Western society that the males have accepted that as the norm. Is that why a lot of the Japanese ladies are looking towards the Western men?
Talking to a lot, there are people, I think maybe 80% of my clients are looking for a Western man. And maybe 70%, and then maybe 30%. It doesn't matter what what country they're from.
Right.
It's more of they want to meet someone who would accept them for who they are, or at least has a career. It's not like they're strong women. They want to be treated like a woman. So the reason why I started my business is really not because I want them to marry Western men, but there's so many problems with cultural challenges. So I wanted to help out with that reason. So my business is to help those people who are already looking for Western relationships or already in a Western relationship to enhance their chances to meet the man of their dreams, or enhance their chances of having a better communion, having a better relationship with their husband or boyfriend. So these women, the problem is because of the cultural challenges, the language barriers, and not really understanding each other in the way that they're used to. That's how I come into the picture of helping out with the cultural differences, as well as the man saying this and you're saying this. So this is how you can communicate. And then they're like, oh, and then things get better.
All right. I understand completely
Makes
now.
sense.
So yeah, you're more of the facilitator, because I equate it to one of my closest friends just married a girl from the Philippines and actually moved to the Philippines. I've been down to the Philippines twice for a month at each time, and I can immediately see a lot of the cultural differences between the Canadians or Western guys and the just the Filipino culture. And then I've also spent a lot of time with a lot of Filipinos here in my own city because of my friend worked with a lot of them. So I can see the differences, and I also have some employees that work for me that are in the Philippines. So I understand the cultural differences and the need to for individuals to actually understand those differences in order to have effective communication, whether it's in a relationship or a business setting or whatever it is. It's that effective communication, and you're just helping bridge that gap.
Yes, exactly. And you're right. It's the same in business as well as in relationships. we have this filter that we look through that, and if we don't have the same experiences or background they have, there's a disconnect. And because we don't see it that way, a lot of people don't see it that way. You just have, I'm just a catalyst, so to speak, to show that bridge and saying, this is a part that's missing. So it's the opening up to that concept of, oh, I might just not understand because of the culture or the language, or there's various things that are challenging in those. So I help people overcome that.
Very nice. If you guys are just joining us, I'm speaking with Irene Tomoe Cooper. She's a highly respected international love coach and author of the best-selling book, The Japanese Women's Guide to International Relationship Skills. She's also in demand as a keynote speaker and talk show guest, where she imparts expert advice on love, personal connection, matchmaking, and integrating work and life to create harmony. She's fluent in Japanese and English. Irene advises men and women in Europe, Asia, and the U.S. on love and relationship issues, specializing in East-West relationships where cultural communication is so vital. Her global clientele encompasses male and female corporate executives, entrepreneurs, and leading medical, law, and academic professionals. She's also known as a dynamic trainer and mentor. Irene built her global reputation by helping successful Japanese women switch off their work mode and turn on their sensuality to attract loving, lifelong relationships with Western men of their dreams. So be sure to like, love, share this video with everyone on your Facebook feeds. And if you have any questions or comments, just type them in the comments section and we'll get to them during the show. So Irene, what is the secret? Because you said you promoted in your post, you were going to give the secret sauce. So what is your secret to living life to the fullest, having a strong, thriving, and expanding business, as well as living a peaceful personal life, even though you have cancer? So what is that secret sauce?
Yeah, my secret sauce is I teach this in my coaching, as well as to do love and work harmony, to integrate work and life, but I live it as well. And it's the 3 V's. I say V's. V's meaning one is vision, and one is value, and one is voice. And I think this is what I do is I have these 3 V's: the vision, voice, and vision, value, and voice. Vision meaning my vision for me is to help people be touched by love. So my motto is let love touch you. And then I also have this concept of make everything count. It was one of my signature talks as well. And the vision is to really have be the person I can. It sounds really like a recruit thing, but be all I can be, to be the best version of me. So having that vision of who I want to be, my values, really about how I strive to become. So really having a clear vision on the person I want to become is huge, and what I want to do with it. And I have this thing called 8 C's that I live by every day, which is being calm, caring, charismatic, having clarity, being classy, helping people with confidence, being congruent, and being current. So those kind of things, I have a vision of what kind of person I want to be. In terms of values, the values are important because it's being clear on the roles I want to play, what kind of woman I want to be, what kind of wife I want to be, what kind of business person I want to be, the values, what's important, the standards I want to live by, and to really know what matters most to me. And I really got that from having stage 4 cancer. I don't have much time to worry about a lot of things. I do still worry, but I have to live today. Being told 20% chances of in 5 years to live, and so that really makes you think, okay, even though I say I'm going to defy the odds, time is ticking. So having that, living my value every day is so important. And the third thing I talk about voice is about having a voice to be able to mean something, not only to me, my life, but to mean something to the society, to the outside. Having a like time bomb, so to speak. I want to leave something, not take it with me into my grave. I want to give back all the things that I've been blessed with, so many people who taught me great stuff, coaches, and I want to be able to give that back. So I want to have a voice to do that. I want to make a difference. I want to have a voice to do that. I want to leave a legacy. So this vision, my values, and my voice, those three things, to have that like a clear reason of living, it gives you clarity. It gives you peace. It gives me peace. It gives me like the sense of being, and it's like, no matter what, that's what I'm going to live. And I think having that gives you confidence, and having that, it's easy for me to do, to wake up in the morning and to do what I need to do and sleep at night peacefully. You never know if you're going to wake up tomorrow. One thing I don't want to do is make my husband sad. I don't want my family to be sad. So, I just, those are the things that really, the secret sauce for me is to have a clear vision on what I do every day. And it is for tomorrow, but, to live today, to be present. We always talk about that, but how many people actually do it? Yeah. And I have to do it. So that's what gives me peace.
That's awesome. So last question, Irene, what are some of your future goals? So what do you have in store for next year, and some of the goals that you've set for the next couple of years?
Oh, just thank you for asking. I am so excited. I hired a brand manager in Japan to help me get into further things. So I have a B2C business, which is my current business of love coaching. He is helping me go into B2B, which is going into corporations to help women, empower women to be able to speak up, have their vision, value, and voice. So I'm going to be able to do that within in-house, as well as tie up with a company to do seminars. I'm very excited. I'm going to incorporate next year, hire staff. It's unbelievable. I never thought from a solopreneur to become a businesswoman. Now I'm finally, my mindset, like I said at the beginning, my mindset now, I am a businesswoman. So to leave something, it's not only about me, it's about leaving a company to be able to have it run without me being there. I'm going to be there, but to do that. And so my next year is really putting that into place. And then the following 3-4 years to get people to do what I'm doing, so they can lead the way. So I'm very excited.
It's excellent. I'm looking forward to all of that. And we're a little bit over on time, but that was okay. It was such a great story, and I want to thank you so much, Irene. Wish I was going to see you next in a couple of weeks, but unfortunately our paths are going to cross and we're not going to get to see each other. But definitely reach out when you go spend some time with Anne. We'll talk about starting our monthly group virtual mastermind and talk about that. But I want to thank you so much. It's such a privilege, such an honor to be to have you on the show, to be your friend, just to be around you. I'm so blessed. And I've got to close this off before I start crying.
So thank you very much for having me. So excited. Thank you.
So everyone show Irene some love by hitting that like button, love button, and be sure to share this on your Facebook feed, and as well as any pages that you subscribe to. And I just want to thank you again, Irene. And for everybody else, just stick around. I'll be right back with some closing remarks. So Irene, again, thank you.
Thank you very much, John. Okay.
Well, thanks for joining me on today's John A. McCabe Show, where we work with entrepreneurs, business owners, authors, experts, and speakers get seen, get heard, get noticed anywhere, anytime, on any device. Now, also known as the Authority Acceleration Blueprint. Now, if you're someone who's looking to take your business to the next level and want to get some coaching advice, why not apply to be a guest on today's show? Now, for most entrepreneurs, we want to create a life of our own, create our own path, and do what we can to reach our own desired outcome, which is generally freedom. Freedom to choose what we want to do, when we want to do it, and with whom we want to do it. A life that's full of options and choices, where we worry less about money and more about the quality of time that we spend with others. Now, a great way to make that happen is to leverage other people's knowledge, time, and skill sets. Step one to reaching our freedom life is to realize that you can't do it alone. Working with a coach or being involved in masterminds is a great way for entrepreneurs to move their business forward. Now, a coach can help you shorten the time frame to get you from where you are to where you want to be, while being part of a mastermind is meant to bring entrepreneurs together, all with the goal of helping each other move forward with their business. Now, the second step to creating the life you envision for yourself as an entrepreneur is to implement systems into your business so you can streamline your operations, leverage systems, and free up your time to focus on your family, having fun, and the highest leverage activities in your business. You know, the activities that get you the biggest return on your time invested, the ones that truly make you money. Now, sometimes we just don't know what systems we need, how to implement those systems, or even have the time to find out what is needed. Now, working with a coach or consultant that understands, uses, and specializes in systems that can streamline your operations can help save you time, aggravation, and make you a lot more money. Now, for example, having a system or strategy that allows you to leverage just 15 hours of your time into enough repurposed content to get you seen, get you heard, get you noticed anywhere, anytime, on any device is a great example of leverage. Now, just imagine a system where you invest just 15 hours of your time, and the end result is you're a #1 best-selling author. You have enough content that's going to get you seen, get you heard, get you noticed anywhere, anytime, on any device. You have a successful podcast. Now, it's automatically attracting more attention, giving more value, and generating more leads, which enables you to attract an abundance of paying customers. Now, this is also known as the Authority Acceleration Blueprint. Now, to find out more about the Authority Acceleration Blueprint coaching program or mastermind, then contact me via my website at johnamccabe.com or connect with me through my show's Facebook page. Now, again, thank you for joining us on today's show, and I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's show when I have another great guest on discussing their business and accelerating their authority. So have yourself an amazing day, and I look forward to seeing you again real soon.